Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Trading Academy. As always, I am your host, Josh Lilquist, with my good friend and my good pal, Mr. Al Connickson. He's dropping some knowledge on the do's and the don'ts of the financial markets, whether you're trading stocks, options, futures, forex, income accounts, or retirement accounts. And that'll be the topic of this segment here today, is retirement accounts and strategies for those all-time highs. And on the last segment, we did talk about those income strategies with using those income assets. And it's all about using leverage or having capital efficiency with your dollars and having your dollars go further for you, just like anything that we do in our everyday life. A good example actually is most people probably use a credit card. So it's kind of with the credit card debt out there. It's kind of like that same concept, because your dollars are going further. Yep. You can use them and then pay it off over time. Well, you're not necessarily paying something off over time in the markets, but it's being able to get into positions you normally wouldn't be able to with the stock market.
Yeah, it's kind of a concept of using other people's money. It's like a mortgage or like a credit card, any kind of a loan you have.
And any smart person, especially institutions, banks, Buffetts of the world, they're all doing it. And all these strategies, they're all available for us as well. So that's the great thing. And we bring that up and shed some light on that in these power trading workshops that we do right here at the Academy and at locations all across the metro here. To come into one of these classes, simply just text the word investing to the number 210-210. That'll be for 2 seats, one for you and one for a friend. Text the word investing to the number 210-210, or go online to the old interweb, and you can do this on your phone. investingandtradinglive.com, and you can pick your own date there. So in this next segment here, as I mentioned, I want to talk about those retirement strategies, because markets are at all-time highs. You look at the S&P 500. We kicked off the show talking about that being at all-time highs. You have the NASDAQ not quite there. The Dow is there. The Russell is lagging back quite some distance. But so the major markets are looking pretty good right now. But a lot of people have stock in their portfolio, and those are not all necessary at all-time highs. There's a lot that are not. So you would think people would be the most wealthy that they have ever been right now, but the fact of the matter is they're not. And I think you said 66% of people are behind on retirement. That's 2 out of every 3.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. So, and if you think about the concept of what we're told to do from a young age, go to school, get a good job, get a 401k, and you're going to be a billionaire by the time you're 62. Retirement age used to be that, 65. I think it's 67 now. They keep raising it. I don't even know what it is. They keep changing it. Now, the problem is if everybody's told to go do that, and if 66% of the people, 2 out of 3 people, do not have enough, there might be something wrong with that. So now it's time, hopefully we can open that brain up and think a little bit differently here. Because if you're doing the same thing everybody else is doing, you're going to be in that same boat when you get to retirement. Some of you are probably listening right now in your 50s and 60s, be like, oh crap, that's me. But the problem is it's not your fault unless you don't do anything about it. So hopefully we can inspire you to think a little bit differently and then start to learn the strategies to do a little bit differently. So let's talk about some of those strategies right now, Al. Is if you feel right now that you're behind on retirement and you need to speed that up a little bit, and rather than just buying and hoping it works out, Al, what are some of the strategies that you can apply and the right assets to be able to do that in those retirement accounts, whether it's an IRA or 401k?
Yeah, if you're behind, which a high percentage of people are, by the way, there's about 30 million retirement accounts in this country with an average return of about $94,000. And that includes some retirement accounts of people like Warren Buffett or the hedge funds that might have billions of dollars in it. Yeah. So the average person is far behind. And one of the reasons, well, a couple of reasons. One, I mentioned before that not everybody is in the market. The wealthiest people are, not everybody is. So you have to have exposure to the markets if you're going to make it through what now could be 20 or 30 or maybe even 40 years in retirement. So that's huge, to be in the market. The other thing to consider is the impact of inflation. You mentioned a couple of times now how high these markets are. That is the case, and even the people that are in the market that have seen their portfolios grow, they haven't seen their wages grow to beat inflation. and that's had and will have a huge impact on people's ability to live. We're seeing, a lot of people that thought they were going to retire now say that they don't have any plans to retire. They just can't afford that extra number of years that they have to live. The world of medicine has done a fantastic job of increasing our lifespan. The financial world has done a terrible job of having people prepared for it. So some of the things that we've already talked about, like options and futures in the foreign exchange market, you can use those in retirement. Even if you have a retirement portfolio that is far, far short of where it needs to be, you can use those assets sort of like looking at the markets, the financial markets. And when we talk about the financial markets, we're not just talking about the stock market. We're talking about all of them, the stock market, the futures market, the forex market, the options market, the cryptocurrency market, the real estate market, all of those, that's all part of the financial markets. And all of those are available to you if you know how to do this properly. It used to be, years ago, like when my dad and probably your dad or your grandparents, when they retired, they had a pension. And that pension gave them a guaranteed income. They didn't really have to worry that much because then they also got a little boost from Social Security. What has changed? What has changed is that most people don't have a pension plan anymore. Social Security is at a critical point where by the year 2023, 2035, the government's only going to be able to pay out maybe 70% of the benefits. So that's going to have a huge impact on people. So and you have no control over that.
Yeah.
You can't control the fact that you don't have a pension. You can't control what happens to Social Security. So what can you control? Your individual investments. And you have to learn how to do that if you want to have a secure, comfortable retirement.
Well, here's an interesting thing here is, and you can get any information online, the average Social Security benefit for workers that retired in 2024, do you know what it is?
It's about $18,000 a year, somewhere in that range.
Close. It's $22,000 per year, which is $1,900 per month. You can't live off that.
Right.
You just unless you have zero house payment, zero bills, and then you want to eat ramen noodles and do nothing.
Yeah, and just remember now, if something isn't done to shore up Social Security, you can take that number and reduce it by about 25 to 30%.
Yeah, and they say it's going to be insolvent by 2035. The fact of the matter is, who knows? It might still be. They might save it. Who knows? But you can't rely on just Social Security. So if you're in your 50s right now, and that if you have that average of, 94,000 is the average American retirement account, you might want to think about doing things a little bit differently, but you got to start now.
Over $2 million to really retire comfortably. And remember, that's got to take you through another 20, 30, possibly 40 years.
Well, it's really simple math if you think about it, because whatever your salary is right now, whatever you make per year if you're still working, and you're living off that, that's pretty much what you're going to need to live off every year, roughly, for the rest of your life. Okay. And if you don't have $2 million, $1 million, or a lump sum coming in, you're going to probably either go back to work because you have to, or continue to work. And I've been working with a lot of people lately that don't want to fall into that category. So it's great. They're being proactive right now. They're being proactive in starting their investing if they've never done it before. But even if they have those retirement accounts started and they're a little behind, they're saying, hey, you know what? Now is the time to buckle down. What my dad would say, time to buckle down on your finances, son. And that's what he used to say when I was a kid, right? So that's what people are trying to do now, is they're trying to buckle down on their finances and prepare and being a little bit proactive, so when they get to retirement, which could be 2 to 5 years down the road for a lot of people listening right now, hopefully you have one of two things. One, either that bucket built up enough, or two, have an income strategy, maybe through the market. That would be an opportunity, so you don't have to draw that whole thing down right away. So hopefully you can continue to replenish that, or not even have to use it, because we're seeing a lot of people that want to leave a legacy for their families and not just use everything, be able to help their family out, their kids, maybe not the kids. Normally it's the grandkids these days. But you got to start, and you got to start today. So I'm going to invite you to an investing class strictly on retirement accounts, how to how to create them, using leverage, how to do things if you feel like you're behind. And if you have questions on those retirement accounts, and a lot of people just don't know what they are and what you can access with them, bring those questions in, and we can answer these for you during these classes. Simply to come into one of these investing classes on retirement accounts, just text the word investing to the number 210-210, and that'll be for 2 seats for an investing class, one for you and a friend. Text investing to the number 210-210. When you do that, you're going to get a text right back with a link to our landing page. When you do that, make sure to pick your own date in that landing page. You can also go online to investingandtradinglive.com, and you can pick your own date there. It's the title of the show, Investing and Trading Live. Also, we appreciate our subscribers. The podcast has been surging online on Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Spotify. So just follow the podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. So coming up next, we have a little more to discuss. We got another segment on the show. Stay tuned. This is Josh and Al. We will be right back.